What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course for a comparison battle review. I'm not sure what to title this one. It's a disc I don't actually currently bag. I have bagged this mold in the past. Neither one of these were in this plastic. We're talking about the Captain's Raptor. This is the Jawbreaker Z Flex. This one is, it's a flexi. It is flexible. This one's pretty flat. Just sitting in my car, it feels like the dome went away. This one's pretty flat. But will it be as overstable as the Z Swirl, this new run, this year's run of Captain's Raptors? This disc is wild. It is amazing. I went to test it just as a warm-up for a doubles round and put it in the basket. So we're gonna see if this Z Swirl Captain's Raptor or the Jawbreaker Z Flex is more overstable, which one of these is more likely for me to bag, and which one of these I'm gonna have to pair up against the Omen. We are on the middle pad for hole number one. I've thrown this one before, so we're gonna throw this. And instead of doing the normal force over forehand flex, on this hole, we're just going backhand. Put it out there, what can we get? I always forget how overstable those are on a backhand. They're so incredibly overstable. Okay, first off, just off the first two throws, I'm gonna say that the one pairing up against the Omen is gonna be the Z Swirl. Already know that. It just feels really good. That plastic feels amazing. I have the Lunas in that plastic. All the Tour Series stuff is gonna be coming out in that plastic. The Z Swirl plastic feels really good and maintains its integrity. And it still has a little bit of a dome. The other one's pretty flat. I'm not necessarily looking for, well, let's go ahead and throw a forehand flex and see if it operates the same way. So we're gonna go with 24 or 25 versus 24. That way we have an easy way to tell the difference. The ace I got with this was a flex forehand where I put it on a significant amount of anhyzer directly at the deepest part of the creek, and it faded back right into the basket. I don't have a creek, I do have a lake right here. So put it on a significant amount of anhyzer, flex back. Let's see what we can get. There is oh my goodness, there's gusting wind coming off the lake. That's a lot of wind. That 24, it did sit in my car. I think there might have been some other discs on it, and it is flat. I've tried to let it sit there and get the dome back, and I think the dome's gone. It doesn't have it anymore. And there you saw dome versus no dome. The wind is always going to affect a domey disc more than it will affect a flatter disc. So the fact that this is a brand new, still has the perfect brand new level of dome, got a little bit turned, and the wind held it. But also, that's most of the Firebirds, that's the Omen, that's basically anything short of a splice or a tilt. That's the only thing close to a splice or a tilt. This Captain's Raptor is actually almost the perfect stability. I'm going to keep throwing to see if it is the perfect stability, and then we'll have to have a battle with the Omen for this Captain's Raptor, but it's flying really good. The overstable 9-speed slot, for me, really doesn't get used very much because I generally feel more comfortable either overpowering an overstable mid-range or underpowering an even faster driver for backhand. This slot is almost exclusively forehand, unless I need some crazy kind of shape that only this type of disc can pull off for a backhand. It's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I generate so much more spin on my backhand that it makes it way more overstable. So we're gonna keep throwing a couple of forehands here. This one's more of a touch forehand with a 9-speed. Let's see if we can do it. 24 is up first because it was actually kind of in the middle of the fairway versus in the woods. That feels more comfortable. And typically I like the flatter feel for the forehands, but that cap wrap, I think because it's soft and gummy, if it was board flat and hard as a board, it'd probably be all good. But it's a little bit too soft. I think that's the main reason, or the main issue I'm coming to with it. It's really cool, and it, soft plastic can do things that more firm plastic can't. But also more firm plastic can do things that soft plastic can't necessarily do all the time. So comparatively, you can tell, okay. I think the flattening also made this have a higher wing. No wonder it's so hard to throw. Okay, well, there's something that soft plastic will do that I don't want from this disc. Yeah. It suddenly beats up to become more overstable. I don't know how that works. We're going to go ahead and throw the 25 first. Close to 300. T-sign says, or the old faded T-sign says like 320, I think it says. So this will actually have to be a little bit of a throw. But for a 9-speed, well, actually for this stability of 9-speed, it might be a full rip. I think that's short in the creek. And this one may not make it to the creek. See, now that I notice that the wing is actually higher, now all of those throws suddenly make sense. The throws between that and the ESP Captain's Raptor, the throws between that and the Firebirds, because it's modified overstable Raptor, but that's more of a modified overstable Captain's Raptor. I also might use this type of disc for backhand distance control and for the option to be able to throw that distance and not be finishing straight, because behind this basket you got about 2 feet of dirt before a drop off. So you would rather be fading and skipping left than flying off the drop off. Guess what these discs do? Let's go ahead and see if we throw these on kind of a stock hyzer angle, will they turn into the placement spike hyzer? I mean, kinda. This one, because of the higher wing, is going to dump out faster, so it probably won't go as far. But even with the big, weird flare skip, it skipped so straight up in the air, and then when it came down, it still really didn't have much speed. So you can either get the angle that kind of just spikes in and sits, maybe a small little bounce, which we saw from the 25, or you get the big flare skip that also kind of sits because it hit the ground so early that we saw from the 24. But again, that's really just the difference between dome. And as far as which one of these, if you're looking for a Captain's Raptor, are these going to fly any different? You know, brand new, I think they're going to fly almost identical. But as it starts to beat in, the Jawbreaker Z Flex is going to beat in a little bit faster and might even change the shape of the disc a little bit more than any of the other plastics. So if you're looking for one that you can beat in, probably Z Flex, or even in one of the older ESP runs. But if you're looking for absolutely gorgeous, stunning disc that's going to stay that way for quite some time, go ahead and pick you up one of the new ones. They're amazing. We're gonna finish it out on this hole. The wind is almost exactly the opposite from when we were thrown over on the tee of hole 4, and it just kind of turned and burned. So a little bit more headwindy, a little bit more right to left than left to right. So theoretically, the forehand and hyzer are going to catch that wind and lift instead of catching the wind and getting shoved down. Let's see what we can get. We're going 25 first. I really like this disc. I also really like the Omen, so that's where the issue's coming from. But now that I know how much I like this disc, it'll make me want to do the video a little bit faster. Forehand flex placement is doing a sit down, really not do too much more. Also, realistically, that's about as much spin as I can put on a forehand. I don't think I can get any more. And flat top, the extreme overstability. I might have to do a giveaway with that disc. It's just, I think I could get over the flight. I think I could get over the flat top. I think I could get over the lack of dome. What I can't get over is how soft the plastic is. If I'm putting it into this slot, I need a super, super firm plastic that I can just absolutely lay into. And I'm always scared with that plastic, if I get into it just a tiny bit too hard, it's just going to start to flutter and get carried by the wind, and that would defeat the purpose of this disc. So for me, the new 2025 Tour Series is going to win out. Well, it's not really a Tour Series. The new 2025 Captain's Raptor, the Z Swirl Captain's Raptor, is going to win out over the Jawbreaker Z Flex Captain's Raptor. And it's not quite overstable enough to be the joke disc like a splice or a tilt, and it's also not quite straight enough to be a usable disc. So for me, I think it's out. Hopefully you guys are enjoying content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber only giveaways. Definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, See you out on the course.